Identity shifting is my favorite subject, and this is how I help my clients scale their businesses from 5 to 6, from 6 to 7, and to 8-figure businesses by helping them fix their internal problems or their subconscious blocks that are holding them back in life. You see, after coaching over 1,300 online business owners, entrepreneurs, I found that in order to make real changes in life, it starts by shifting a person's identity or changing that internal thermostat. Because here is the thing, what you're seeing externally, it has to first begin internally, right? You must change who you are. You don't attract what you want, instead you attract who you are. And if you don't change who you are, if you keep operating from this old state of being, although you may see temporary changes from time to time using the tactics, the strategies, working on external things, putting in the work, yes, but understand this, eventually, your subconscious mind, which controls 95% of your life, is going to course correct itself back in alignment with your old self or your old identity. And just like that, back to the old habits and old ways you go. So that success is going to be very short-lived. My whole life's work has been learning how to become my ideal self that's in alignment with what I want in life. Okay, so let's begin with the biggest problem. Well, the biggest problem is this: most people believe that pretending to be someone else, it doesn't work. And this is because they believe that there is only one true me. Well, now this brings me to the argument of nature versus nurture. Okay, one of my favorite quotes comes from Bill Gates. If you're born poor, it's not your fault, but if you die poor, then it's your fault. Well, that quote right there, it got me thinking, and it got me understanding that, hey, if this is true, if I assume this to be true, then that means I can change my circumstances. And if I can change my circumstances, I can nurture myself into becoming someone different. Maybe not entirely different, but I can make changes in my life to achieve my goals, to live the life that I want to live, right? But here's the thing. Most people, they are more aligned with nature. They believe that this is their fate. I'm supposed to be this way. I'm not supposed to be that way. I'm supposed to be introverted and not extroverted. I'm always going to be financially broke because I grew up in financial hardship. I'm never going to find love because I'm way too old. My entire life is doomed. I'm always going to be like this. And this is why people suffer. They suffer because their beliefs get in the way. The lenses they perceive life through is clouded by their beliefs. Their desires are not in alignment, are not congruent with their beliefs. So now this brings me to the next point. How can you become someone different? How do you end this internal conflict? Well, here is the thing. My nature was to be closed off. When faced with certain events that would bring up this fear, especially public speaking, because I didn't learn to speak English until I was about 10, 11 years of age. So my nature is to pull away from these events. But here is the thing. I nurtured myself to the point where I love public speaking. I love to guest speak. I've nurtured myself to enjoy public speaking, even doing live coaching sessions 3-5 times a week, right? Why? Because I knew that this was necessary in order to achieve what I wanted in life. My goal to run a successful online coaching business, I became this ideal self. I've conditioned myself. I've trained myself. I've become the successful business owner. And in my mind, the successful business owner needs to be able to communicate my message across to my audience, the clients I want to help, the people I want to impact. I need to be able to speak confidently. So understand this. Who you pretend to be is who you will become. At first, it might feel like you're pretending and you're trying really hard. And just like when I wanted to become a successful business owner, it was difficult for me to become. It was difficult for me to become more confident, to embody this ideal self. But here's the thing. Once I continued to show up as this ideal self, this new identity, it became subconscious to me. It became a part of me. It became natural. It became a way of life. So at first, yes, I started to pretend to be someone that I'm not. And I only say pretend because I believe right now I'm a certain person and I'm not a certain other person. So please understand that. But once again, who you pretend to be is who you will become. Right? Just like riding a bike. At first, it's very, very difficult. But over time, it becomes a part of you. It gets easy, right? So now I want to share with you guys the 3 key steps to really make this identity shifting effortless for you. Key number 1, you have to make sure that your chosen identity is in alignment with your vision. So ensure your chosen identity is congruent with your vision. So the key part here is that you have to get crystal clear on your vision first. What do you really want? What does your heart want, right? I realized that when I started to find joy, when I was getting joy out of creating content and videos for my social media, because here's the thing, right? I love sharing my knowledge. I love seeing other people level up in life and achieve great things in life. I get so excited when my clients would message me and say, hey, coach, this is what I achieved. That stuff right there excites me. But once again, and here's the key, you have to make sure that your identity is congruent with your vision. Your identity is in alignment with your vision. If it's not in alignment, if it's not congruent, it's going to be a constant struggle for you because you're trying to force things, right? So once again, you need to get clear on your vision. You have to take time to reflect to see, what do I want 10 years from now? What do I want 5 years from now? And what do I want a year from now? If you get clear on those 3 milestones, the embodiment of this ideal self, it becomes effortless for you. So that's number 1. Number 2, you have to operate from the ideal self, which is your chosen identity. Always operate from the ideal self. So what does this mean? Well, as you go about your day-to-day life and you're presented with an obstacle, a challenge, or a decision that you need to make, how would Tiani 2.0 deal with this? How would Tiani 2.0 respond to this? How would Tiani 2.0 speak with this person? How would Tiani 2.0 solve this problem? So every single challenge that you face, everything that you experience, how would this ideal self show up? And when you show up as this ideal self, guess what's going to happen? Your reality starts to catch up because your internal world is reflected into the external reality just with a slight delay. So over time, whānau, your external world starts to shape itself accordingly to the person and identity that you embody. That compounded over time yields life-changing results. So that's number 2. Remember also, take a moment to pause and then respond. Do I want to react to this as my old self? Or do I want to wake up and respond to this as my ideal self? Ask yourself this question on a moment-to-moment basis. Number 3, if you find that it feels too unnatural for you to act as a successful salesperson because you're way too introverted, or it feels like you're huffing and puffing your chest to be someone you're not, or you're trying to fake confidence, or you're trying to fake something, here is the key. And I want you guys to write this down and remember this. You have to pretend with the intent to become. Please remember this. You have to pretend with the intent to become. Who you pretend to be is who you will ultimately become over time. Trust me. As you keep pretending over and over again, it becomes a part of you, right? You become that person. You become that person that's good with women or men. You become that person that's more confident in social settings. You become that person who's more of a leader to their team. All of those things happen as you start to pretend, when you act as if. Right? But the key part here, and this is where most people fail, is they forget this, is you have to act as if with the intent to become. Let me say that again. You have to act as if with the intent to become. Remember that. You have to pretend with the intent to become. But most people pretend for pretending's sake. And here's the thing. If you're pretending for pretending's sake, you're naturally going to give up. There's no more motivation to keep on pretending, right? And just like that, it doesn't work for you. But here is the thing. As you do this, everything that I've preached today, this embodiment of this new self, acting as if, over time, that compound that yields life-changing results, it becomes a part of you. And then this acting as if, it turns into being as if.